there are just so many things that can be affected by your blood flow, and so many things that can be negatively affected when you have no blood flow, or certainly reduced blood flow to any part of your body, right down to the tiniest vessels. We are meant to have full blood flow everywhere we have a vessel, in those many miles of veins and vessels and arteries that we have in our body, and capillaries, miles and miles of them. We are meant to have them full of blood. And when we don't, there'll be an issue of some kind eventually. The body's a pretty amazing machine when you think of it, much better than any man-made machine. Our car couldn't go long at all without oil or fuel if that flow was restricted. So the human body is quite an amazing machine, and it does know what to do with natural ingredients, so natural substances. It does not know what to do with chemicals, and that's why a lot of the heck from pharmaceuticals and other chemicals in our lives, emissions, the 160,000 airplane flights a day, the chemicals we're surrounded with in our homes, we wash with, clean with, wash our clothes with, sometimes our skin and our hair with, brush our teeth with. We are surrounded by chemicals. We all know what chlorine does when we swim in a swimming pool, where chlorine is used. Well, now it's in drinking water in many cities. So imagine what it might be doing to our insides. Jim Strauss always believed, and I'm certainly convinced, that causes of cancer, major causes of cancer, are chemicals and genetically modified foods, man-made foods. Some call them frankenfoods. Looks like an orange, tastes like an orange, must be an orange. Well, no, it isn't. There haven't been any natural oranges in a long time. There hasn't been any natural corn in decades. These man-made foods, Jim Strauss said many years ago, they lack the enzymes. We're born with a handful of enzymes. If we use them up, we're dead. And we cannot duplicate nature. We know that. Everyone knows that. And yet we've tried to do that with our foods, and they've done a good job at making them look good and taste good, many of them. But those missing enzymes, that's where Strauss always warned the trouble would be. Since scientists have told us there's actually some further harm potential with genetically modified foods. The shocking thing is, it's very tough to get by without them, since 93% of products in our grocery stores are or contain genetically modified organisms. So it's harder and harder to eat properly every day, to eat healthy, to eat organic, natural foods. I mean, they have organic, seedless grapes. Organic, man-made, artificial, if you will, grapes. I would rather have the natural foods that were here from the beginning and that we're meant to have. So these, combined with the chemicals that are surrounding us in our lives, Strauss always believed were the major causes of cancer, which today is at almost epidemic proportions compared to when I was young. I would say that go back 50 years, probably very few people knew someone with cancer. Fast forward to today, who doesn't know someone with cancer? It's again, just the disease has, like diabetes, gone to almost epidemic stages. Seedless foods. It takes a seed to reproduce anything in this world. A pine tree, a human being, a giraffe, a frog, they all take a seed. And so to have seedless foods, or foods that have seeds you can't do anything with, and I suppose that's to help trick us that we're eating natural food. It seems kind of evil to me, but seedless foods cannot reproduce themselves. Therefore, they have weak immune systems themselves. We eat the seedless foods, and what would you suspect happens with our immune system? It can become weaker. There are new syndromes and diseases, it seems, all the time. And as the old saying goes, we are what we eat. Well, a lot of the things that we eat now are not natural. They are not as nature intended them. Some of them do not have seeds. And this weak immune system of the plant itself. To make things worse, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, insecticides, and different fertilizers and so forth are needed all the time on these foods that lack their own strong immune system. So on top of it all, there's more chemicals than ever on our foods. It's a bad combination. So as difficult as it is, we should do our best to eat good foods and natural foods, but there's never been a time where supplementing our health with various supplements. For example, I take full spectrum minerals because for years we've known that our soil generally is depleted of minerals. So if it isn't in the food, you need to get it somehow. You maybe suffer cramps, leg cramps, foot cramps at night. Make sure you're drinking enough water and consider full spectrum minerals because it's what's missing from a lot of our foods. The natural medicine, again, like the Strauss heart drops, folks, they work despite the pharmaceuticals. Our doctors are taught in medical school they cannot recommend natural medicine to you. It's against the rules of the College of Physicians and Surgeons. And primarily that's because they don't know if there's any effect in combination with their pharmaceuticals. What I find bewildering is when they do clinical studies, they need clean bodies. You can't be on any pharmaceuticals when you're a test study candidate. You must have a clean body in that respect. And then they test one at a time on people who are not taking any other pharmaceuticals. Now what ends up happening to many people is they're taking 4 or 5, 8, 10 different chemical drugs. No one's done a study on that. They study them one at a time. I don't think our bodies know what these chemicals are doing inside us, and I don't think the chemicals themselves necessarily know what each other are doing. So this is not a promotion for chemical drugs. It's really a caution. Further today, our system really is broken because every disease is on the rise. Doctors have never been busier. Pharmacists have never been busier. And just recently, pharmacists have admitted that they cannot take the time to read sometimes the hundreds of pages they would have to read for side effects, contraindications between drugs to fill your prescription. These are busy people, so you could imagine if they had to read even 10 pages before filling your prescription, they couldn't do it. Now, I don't know why there isn't a computer program to do this, to help the pharmacists protect us, because they are there to protect us when they dispense the drugs, or why there isn't the same system that doctors perhaps could use to ensure that we aren't prescribed drugs that contraindicate with one another. But apparently there is no such system available today. So, folks, we have to watch out for ourselves. If you are taking pharmaceuticals, please read the paperwork that comes with it. Pay attention to it, focus on it, and make sure you're not taking something that could harm you together with something else that you're taking. I'm happy to say that Strauss heart drops and many natural formulas otherwise don't have those risks and dangers. Your body knows what to do with them. If you don't need them, just like if you ate too many apples like I did on Apple Day as a Cub Scout, your body will get rid of them safely and naturally.